So I decided to put Hyper-G in my squash racket because sharp edged strings are not really a thing in squash, but cutting the ball so that it spins into the wall or stays very close to it is of huge importance in this sport because that is how you make life for your opponent difficult. So how was it? Not bad, and it honestly kind of took me by surprise. You can hear my friend's reaction to it as well.
I actually like it a lot.
So you're gonna start playing at 20 pounds as well?
I don't know.
So, like I said, Hyper-G in a squash racket was not bad. It's definitely stiff, but has a surprisingly hollow feel that I've never really felt before, in squash at least. I can't say I liked it right off the bat, but Hyper-G did 100% give me the spin or cut, to use squash terminology, that I was looking for. I do have to emphasize that this is just a quick first impressions because I think this topic deserves a much more in-depth treatment that I'm working on. If you want somewhat of a teaser on this in-depth treatment, then go watch this video where I've tried putting soft tennis strings in my squash racket. Okay, so back to the cut. It was noticeably above average, but what really surprised me was how the ball came off the string bed. It came off at a really low launch angle. This is opposite to how generally shaped strings behave in tennis rackets because they lead to a higher launch angle as you brush up on the ball when you're sending it to the other side of the court. But I guess the response off a squash racket makes sense if you consider how the ball is struck in this sport, which is with a continental grip, similar to how you would hit volleys in tennis. And because so much of the time you're cutting down on the ball with a continental grip, it leads to the ball having more underspin, which results in a lower launch angle that I experienced. I've experienced this in tennis too when I hit volleys or slices exceptionally well, that the ball gets a lot more underspin imparted to it and it stays or bounces low. I really do need to play more, but I think my rationale for using Hyper-G in a squash racket seems sound. Okay, let's talk about the feel, which was, okay. It's stiff and hollow, which I don't think of positively, but here I'm not so sure. It seems to work, even if the feel is a little unorthodox by squash standards. I think if you like stiffer strings to begin with, like the Ashaway Power Neck, then you might feel right at home with this particular trait. But the hollowness might be something that would be just down to individual preference, I think. The stiff feel also gave noticeably less power, but I'm not quite sure I've broken the string in yet, so I will reserve judgment. I've used the 16L gauge, which is 1.25 millimeters, and it did feel bulky in the racket. It's also quite a bit heavier than the 1.05 millimeter I used, so it also made the racket a bit head heavy. I don't like that too much, but it suited my friend Ahmed's preferences just fine. I also strung it quite low, 20 pounds, which is what I normally string at, and I know it's really low, but I think I might need to go even lower. But again, I'm not quite sure whether I was fully able to break this string in the short 45-minute session I had my first time with the string, so I'm reserving judgment. I will close with my friend Ahmed's thoughts, but yeah, thanks for watching this quick first impressions that I wanted to get out quickly because I know for those of you who play squash seriously, that summer tends to be the training and equipment testing time, and I wanted to let you know that this is worth the try. I'll try and be back in a few weeks with a full in-depth review. See you in the next one.
So, how did it feel?
So I liked that it's thick, it added extra weight to the head of the racket.
Yeah, I know.
That was actually, I like the balance of the racket because of the thick strings, that's one thing. It's a bit stiff and hollow, which typically I don't like, but surprisingly I liked it here. Like I felt the touch was really good. At that tension there was reasonable power with the touch. I actually liked it a lot.
So you're gonna start playing at 20 pounds as well?
I don't know. But it's definitely interesting. Like, I'll put it on my ear stick and see how it.
Yeah. Okay, how do you compare this to the 305? The Technify, the 305.
The other one is very soft. It's like a sponge. It takes the ball, it absorbs it. This doesn't do that. The hollow feel on this is not on the 305, so totally different. This is more like, I think, gives like the power neck feel.
100%. I thought this was a stiff power neck, same class as string.
But I think I like it surprisingly.
For me, it was a lower launch angle, right? Like because the string cuts the ball so much, like my balls don't fly as high on the front wall as they normally would, right? Like,
well, I didn't play with it much to get the feel of the cut. just hitting a couple of straight hits, I felt it was.
Yeah.
The touch was very good. Like on a drop, even volley drop, it was spot on.
I completely agree. Like by far the best string for drops and cuts I've ever played with. Yeah, but that's the four-sided, like sharp, like nature of it, right? Like it really grabs the ball, like noticeably grabs the ball. So yeah, I might think about like hybriding this, like with like my regular squash string and this.
What would you use for mains and what would you use for crosses?
I'm gonna try both.
Okay.
But if you want the ball to cut, then I think it has to be in the mains, right?
Still, the ones you use when you use before the Ashways, they cut the ball pretty decent too.
Yeah, because they're textured, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll put these in the crosses actually.
Okay.
I think crosses are gonna
I'm going to try both. You can use your 305 in this, and I'll try my Ashaway power nick. Sorry, super nick.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.